So I've been using the TR5 for a couple weeks now, and there's some things I really like about it, but there's also a couple things that you should really know before buying. So first things first, Trak Racer has sent this out for review to me, but they had no input whatsoever on the video or what I'm saying. My opinions are all my own. It's not an ad, just a review. However, if you do decide to purchase anything from Trak Racer, I have put my affiliate links below. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help me invest in the channel and make better videos for you. So for the first impressions, I would say it's a lot more versatile and a lot more adjustable than the competitors. Now, it's no TRX or anything like that, but it does raise up quite a bit with all the adjustments you can see below. And the back seat does go back quite far. So I would call it a hybrid rig, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I would say it does both quite well with minimal adjustments. I think the big bonus here is that the seat here is actually part of the rig. So similar rigs in this price category don't actually come with a seat, like you have to buy it separately. While this rig is a whole package because it comes with the seat already and everything you really need to drive except for the electronics, of course. So really that's all you need to buy here. The headrest here is very nice. There's memory foam in it, and you can also pick it up and turn it around, which I've done so far. You can also take the insides out and flip those around, so it all depends on what you like. This one here has the microfiber suede or whatever you call it, and the other side is just leather. Also, if you're driving in VR, one side's thicker than the other, so right now there's a lot of room back here. If you flip this around, it's gonna be against my head, so a lot of adjustability. So I see a lot of smudges here already, and that is from my gloves because they're black on the inside here. So every time I touch this, I leave some marks behind. So that's one thing. I mean, it's not specific to this rig, but anything white, you know, you're gonna have to clean this a lot more than, let's say, a black rig. And it's surprisingly bigger than I was expecting. I was thinking I was gonna get a really small rig from looking at pictures, but I am 6 foot tall and I can sit in this comfortably. I haven't even extended any of these options. It's actually on the shortest mode right now. And then of course the pedals are pushed a little bit further, but I'm very comfortable as a 6 foot tall person. I don't know if you're much shorter, how that would feel for you, but yeah, it works for me. Now the rubber feet underneath here, they're very nice. Protects the floor, protects the rig, and it also helps with the vibrations that you get when you're driving, that they don't go right into the floor and you disturb everybody else in the house. Now the competition, I think it's very clear. This is targeted directly at the Playseat Trophy. I had a Playseat Trophy for many years and I really liked it, but it had some shortcomings, which you can see in my video that I made about it as well. Now this, I feel like addresses most of these issues. So the base model is selling at $599, which I think is actually in the Goldilocks zone. I think people that will be buying this will be either first-time buyers that want to do it right, or a person that outgrew their setup. And what I would say right from the get-go is the base model is very good, but there are two things that I think you should purchase with this as well, which is the accessory kit, which gets you the drink holder, headphone holder, and the little wheels down here. And then also the monitor stand. And the monitor stand, I think it's almost a must at this point, because there's something, not just a monitor stand that you get, but you get something else as well that I think is very important. But I'll talk about this a little bit more when we talk about the accessories. So assembly and unboxing. So it is actually really nice to finally get a physical manual with Trak Racer. They usually don't do that and they do it online, but every single thing, even the accessories, came with a manual, and the whole assembly process in itself was actually super easy. Building time may vary depending on the paint itself. It's pretty basic, there's no gloss or nothing on it, but I wasn't expecting anything fancy. It only comes in white at the moment, but what you can also get is you can get that Hot Wheels one that's very orange and very flashy, so if you're into that, it's also available. The accessories on here, they easily attach, there was no issues whatsoever. One of the accessories that I did have an issue with was the actual monitor stand bracket, the one that's over here. In the manual it says you can flip it over, so that way the monitor would be closer. I did try that, and it actually hits the back of the wheel plate, which is not a good thing, obviously, because it can't be hitting that. So that's the only thing I really encountered in the building that didn't really work out. That being said, this model is a pre-production model that they sent out, so maybe in the future that won't be an issue. So overall thoughts. So I would say it's just as much fun in-game than it is with a sim rig double the price, and it's surprisingly rigid. Trak Racer says this can handle up to 25 Newton meters of torque. I'm using the Fanatec DD Plus. With the new update now is 18 Newton meters. I don't use all of that, but I must say it is very rigid. I've had no issues whatsoever with the rigidity on the rig itself. The only thing I did notice is when I lift this up and down a bit, is that the monitor goes up and down a tiny bit too. But beside that, there has been no issues with vibrations or this coming loose or anything like that. It's been actually rock solid. But 25 Newton meters does seem like a lot. So I'm not sure if those are VW Dieselgate numbers that they're pumping out here, but I'm gonna take Trak Racer's word for it. I was a little bit concerned about the pedal tray being a more entry-level sim rig. And while there is some visible flex on the braking, it does not disappoint. So I kept the same brake force that I usually use on my other rig, on my Fanatec CSL Elite V2s. So that means I didn't have to retrain my brain again, and I could just keep using the same force I used before. So if I had to tell you right now where the most flex on this rig is, I would say the pedal tray for sure. But to be honest, it's better than I was expecting. Another thing that wasn't the greatest for me was that the steering wheel here is sitting a little high for me, even though I'm quite tall. So it's sitting at the lowest point right here, and it's still quite high. Like my vision right now, that's where I'm looking in the middle of the screen, and my hand goes right in the middle of that. So you could say, why don't you just move the screen up? Which you can do because there's options to do that in the back there. But I like the screen at this height. I don't want it any higher. So if I do it higher, then I can look up, I guess, but that's just not what I like. So for me, the steering wheel could be a little bit lower, but not a big deal. After about an hour already, I got used to the height now, and this is my new normal. But my other rig, I definitely have it sitting a little bit lower and a little bit tilted up. So this is a little straight for me, but yeah. Now, one of the best things about this is the seat, surprisingly. I was a little skeptical because I know these seats can be a hit or a miss, but this one's actually really, really good. And it really does all three well, which is temperature, rigidity, and comfort. So hours of racing in one stint, no back issues whatsoever, no soreness. I think the soreness is actually in my knees from the way I was sitting, but no soreness in the back. Temperature, it gets warm, but it doesn't get hot. You know, this room gets pretty warm during the day, so I would say that's mostly because of the environment, and of course because you're driving you get a little bit warm as well. But it does have little perforations in it, just like the Trophy does, so I would say for temperature and all that stuff, it's similar to the Trophy. And then rigidity, which is another concern I had. So especially with the fabric seats, when you push hard on low cell brake, you always expect to kind of like sink into it completely, while this has a little bit of give, but once there's some give, it actually holds you pretty well, pretty firmly. So I've tested seats before that you push and you sink into it, but this is not the case. It's actually quite comfortable and quite rigid at the same time. Another surprise was actually when I opened the box and it was like, whoa, there's a shifter mount with this. You don't get that with the Trophy. So the shifter mount was included. I don't have a shifter or a handbrake, so I don't really need it, but it is nice to know that for other people, they can use it. And it's actually quite solid. Like you can actually like put your whole weight on this and it does not budge. Now I had another controversial thought. I think most people that are buying this rig will actually not have a handbrake or a shifter. I think, I could be wrong. So including this doesn't seem necessary, I think. So what I would propose is they don't include this and lower the price slightly. So it's better for most consumers. And then if you want to buy this, you could buy this as an optional extra. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, what do you guys think? Should they just include it and leave the price as it is, or should they lower the price a tiny bit and leave this out so you can order it if you want to? Let me know in the comments. So let's talk about the accessories and the monitor stand kit that you can buy for this as well as optional extras. So first, let's talk about the actual monitor stand itself. So I talked about this previously, that this little plate here doesn't flip to the other side, so you can bring it closer. However, there is some options here that you can move 3 different steps to the back or the front. Now that's cool, but I thought there was gonna be more adjustments into the actual base of it itself, but I guess not. I mean, between the actual screen and the stand. I thought there was gonna be an adjustment for angle and also for length, but there's not. Now, keep in mind, this is not the same one that you can get on the TR8 and the TRX. This is specifically, I believe, for the TR5. This one's a little bit different too, because it kind of just hooks on and you bolt it in. So a simpler design, kind of like it. It's more minimalist, but I feel like it's just lacking some adjustments. And do you remember earlier that I said I would recommend you getting this? And the reason for that is because of the monitor stand, you get this big plate over here. So even if you're not using a monitor, to have this plate here is huge because it really helps rigidity on this rig. Left and right up here is completely locked in now. You can see these type of crossbars on the TR8 and the TRX on top. Now you don't get this automatically with the base version, so it's really nice to have some extra rigidity because of this. Now the Playseat Trophy didn't have this at all. You couldn't really mount a monitor to it, and this was always a concern of mine because I was always messing around on how to get the monitor perfect for it. So having this built in is huge for me. Now the wheels on the back, they do go round and round. To call it portable is a little bit of a stretch because I think it's quite heavy. So Carrying it around solo is not something I'd recommend, but because of those wheels and do lift with the legs here, not with the back, because it's quite heavy in the front with all my equipment on it. You can roll it around in a room. I wouldn't say you're ripping around in here, but once you actually move it out of the way a little bit, the wheels are nice to have. Also something that I really liked, which I didn't actually think I was gonna like that much, but is the cup holder that you can see right in the front here. Now they're made out of plastic, so they're not very strong. It is nice to keep your water bottle on there or whatever you're drinking. But one thing, yeah, they're made out of this cheaper plastic, so I think one swift blow with the knee on there and they'll break off, so watch out. And same goes for the headphone hanger on the back here. So depending on what you want to spend, but I do recommend these because they're actually really nice to have. You just got to be careful to not break them. I was hanging some wheels on that headphone hook and I could definitely see it bending a bit, so the weight of these wheels is definitely going to break it, so I do not recommend hanging anything on those except for your headphones. This isn't just a beginner rig, this is actually one of the best value rigs you can buy right now, as long as you can live with some compromises. And as expected, it's not absolutely perfect. The wheel plate's just a little bit too high for me and the monitor's a little too far away, I can't bring it closer. But these are all preferences, so depends on how you like to sit, of course. And the pedal plates down below, they do flex a bit if you put all your weight on it. It is noticeable, but to be honest, so will everything else in this price category. And most important of all, my wife said, it's nice, which is the biggest stamp of approval that you can get in this house. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'm a small channel, so a like and subscribe would mean the world to me and would make my day. And don't forget about those affiliate links below. Have a great rest of your day, and tot de volgende keer.